These protesters are residents of Israel. They're originally from Africa, and now more than ever they are worried. Israel wants to deport tens of thousands of African migrants. Some of them are even from the Jewish faith. The Israeli regime believes that they are economic migrants and that Tel Aviv can't and shouldn't have to care for. Critics of the scheme, on the other hand, think that Israel's moves violate international law by refusing legal asylum claims and deporting migrants to countries where they'll be unsafe again. Nearly 40,000 immigrants crossed into Israel through Egypt's Sinai Desert between the years 2006 and 2012. They were fleeing the harsh political conditions in different parts of Africa, including Eritrea, Ethiopia, Uganda, and Sudan, among others. The real number of immigrants in Israel is not known, but some estimates say it's well over 70,000 people, including children born to migrants in Israel. Near Tel Aviv's central bus station, African migrants express their views on their pending deportations back to countries they never really knew.
זה בושה, זה לא יאומן שאני נמצא כאן 9 שנים, ביקשתי בקשת מקלט סך הכל. נכון שאנחנו כאן בדרום תל אביב, צפוף, במקום שישקיעו כסף על חולות, על פיזור, במקום שלקבל אותנו בצורה מכובדת וחוקית, שיהיה נעים לכולם שלום, הממשלת ישראל משקיעה כסף בחולות על גירוש.
לא פתוח, אין דמוקרטיה, אין זה. אנשים הורגים, אנשים כל כך באמת, ראש ממשלה אלה לא טובים. באפריקה אנשים טובים, אבל ראש ממשלה לא טובים כולם.
Local community leaders of the African diaspora in Israel complain that they are not receiving adequate help from authorities. Halifman Sultan, the chairperson of the Eritrean asylum seeker community in Israel, describes his community's struggles.
The laws passed are mainly targeting the African asylum seekers. They open detention centers, they prevent them from working, rights from having any life insurance, health insurance, and other opportunities.
Sultan goes on to explain that local Israelis can help make the situation better for his community.
I do think they do not hate us, but they hate the condition that they are living. Even though it was not because of all the things happening here, is not because of us, but adding to this weak condition, some more thousands asylum seekers creates more.
On the political stage, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu seemed to describe his deportations as, quote, removing infiltrators.
תאשר היום את התוכנית להוצאת המסתננים מישראל, אנחנו נתגבר את האכיפה ואנחנו נקצה תקציבים וכוח אדם למימוש התוכנית. אני חושב שחשוב שאנשים יבינו, אנחנו עושים כאן דבר שהוא לגמרי חוקי ולגמרי חיוני.
According to him, African migrants have no choice but to cooperate and leave, or else.
למסתננים יש ברירה פשוטה, לשתף איתנו פעולה ולצאת מרצון בדרך מכובדת, בדרך אנושית ובדרך חוקית, או כמובן צריך להפעיל את הכלים האחרים העומדים לרשותנו.
Shortly after those comments, Tel Aviv struck a deal with the United Nations to relocate thousands of African asylum seekers to Western countries. The United Nations Refugee Agency back in March of this year got involved and offered to resettle around half of the adult male immigrants. The other half were to be allowed to stay in Israel.
Agreement. I'm very glad that we achieved it with the UN Commissioner on refugees. It enables us to solve this problem in a way that protects the interests of the State of Israel and gives a solution to the residents of southern Tel Aviv and other neighborhoods, and also for the people who came into Israel. I think it's a good solution.
But that did not last long. The Israeli Prime Minister canceled the deal entirely only days after it was made. He cited mounting pressure from his right-wing base over the agreement with the UN Refugee Agency as the reason for the sudden move. The move triggered nationwide protests by African migrants and Israelis alike. For them, this was their last chance to get closure and live their lives.
Are fighting to bring a deal to USA and Canada. The president of Israel, we cancel it. We are going to fight that. That is anti-black people, anti-refugees in the world here.
We're here today to tell the government that we won't let them play games with refugees' life. They had a good plan with the UN and we supported it. And 2 days ago, Benjamin Netanyahu decided to end the game and to continue with the deportation.
According to Israel's Tel Aviv University, 2/3 of the public support deporting migrants. Another poll done by the European Social Survey, Israelis are less willing to take in migrants than almost all European countries. The bottom line, according to a study by the Pew Research Institute, 57% of Israelis are against accepting any refugees despite the troubles they face at home. Deep inside the Israeli capital, Tel Aviv, Israelis give their take on what they think about the controversial issue.
The African refugees, first of all, Israel cannot absorb them because they have diseases and also behavioral problems. Thirdly, you see how they behave in Spain, Barcelona. Clearly, Israel can't solve their problems. Israel has enough problems with the Palestinians.
There are some good refugees and they are invited to our town, and there are also some who steal sometimes. Some claim that the majority of them steal, so if it is a choice, it is better for them not to be here.
Maybe the immigrants they accept are Jewish immigrants. Those are the ones they are secure with. The Americans, the French. Maybe because they are Jewish and that is why they support their immigration.
You know, we're a human being and we're all about humanity. But bottom line, if they starting to be, you know, to act like I won't say criminal, but you know, all the rape in Tel Aviv and all the robberies and all the thing that's coming with it, so it's very hard because there's the women and the kids and the moms and you don't know what to do with that.
I don't think they should be expelled. I think they should be given like a chance to stay here in Israel. I think they come here for a better life, no?
Because it's starting to be a big deal. First it was few over there, but now they're starting to take all the real estate over Tel Aviv.
Let them just like go through the papers, and they should make it easier for them, like the whole paper, the whole process. And but in the end, they should be allowed here. You know?
I think we have to expel them because they don't have work here and they bring problems, and people in the south really suffer because they are very afraid. And I think we have to first care for our own. Take care of our residents, our Jews in Israel, before you take care of all the refugees.
Because the nature of Israel is to be a Jewish country. After 2,000 years, the Jewish people, after being consistently, consistently dealing with pogroms and really, really bad situations in the Holocaust and things like such. After 2,000 years, the Jews are finally back, and we have a country where we can defend ourselves. But the nature of the Jewish people is to be a welcoming nation. And so, like I said before, it's a very complicated situation, but at the end of the day, this is a Jewish country.
I don't necessarily think that they target those African refugees specifically. Just in general, you see that there's not a lot of help offered in the Middle East from other nations. Us taking in the Syrian refugees, it's just, there's not a lot of help offered to other people in the region. Israel is the only place where people can go to for help in the Middle East right now.
For now, over 40,000 migrants will remain in Israel where they are pending deportation in the coming months. The international community has deplored Israel's decision, but to no avail. The consequences that will arise after deporting that many migrants, many of whom work in positions that not a lot of Israelis are willing to take, will leave an impact for years to come. In the meantime, however, mothers, children, fathers of African descent wait impatiently as their lives will once again unfold as they will be forced to move yet again.